Hey folks, this is Best in Slot with some brand new exciting news for Jurassic World Dominion, and actually more importantly, brand new exciting images from Jurassic World Dominion. Now these come to us courtesy of Empire magazine. They're running like a special Dominion edition version of the magazine on the 14th of this month. So hopefully we'll get even more images. They've promised more images and hopefully some new information as well. But that doesn't mean we are neglected in the meantime. We have a brand new image. I'm going to bring it up right now. So this is basically our best ever look at the Giganotosaurus animatron. I'm very curious how they're going to pronounce Giganotosaurus in the film, by the way. This is basically our best ever look at the full-size, full-scale animatronic for the Giganotosaurus, which we're going to see in Jurassic World Dominion. Of course, is the main new antagonistic dinosaur. And we can see here with an upturned vehicle, very Jurassic Park-esque, with people hiding behind it, just like that scene with Lex and Tim and Grant, especially in the first Jurassic Park. And we've got the entire cast, sans a couple of major members hiding behind the vehicle. Of course, this is a scene we've seen several times in the trailer with the fire raging in the background and the burning, what looks to be the burning locusts floating through the air as well. Now, it's up to you completely where you stand on the Giga as an animatronic itself, or as a design, I should say, but I think it's pretty cool to have again these full-size, proper scale animatronics back in the franchise. This is something that really does feel quite akin to the original Jurassic Park. I mean, it is paying homage to it rather directly, but you know what I mean, just having that big animatronic, something real for the actors to respond to, I think is always a little bit more effective. I'd expect this to be overlaid with some CGI, kind of like we saw with the Indoraptor back in Fallen Kingdom, but still, it's a fantastic image. Ian Malcolm there leading, it's quite a funny little array of the cast. The entire cast is looking up, sort of behind themselves, similar in a way actually to the ring wraith scene in the first Lord of the Rings film, where they're sort of tucked behind that mound of dirt and they're looking up over their shoulder. They're all doing that, except for Ian Malcolm, who appears to be trying to sneak around the corner. It's actually interesting. I reckon he's maybe making a dash for the facility, for the building or something. It doesn't look like it'll work out based on what we're seeing there, but yeah, I'd be very curious what Malcolm is up to. Either way, a fantastic look at the Giga Animatronic, and whatever my reticence about the design, I think it's really, really cool to have full-scale animatronics like this again, and shout out to Empire for a fantastic look, and also a really good look at this facility in the background, this raised metallic laboratory sort of thing that looks very, very high tech. I love the dashes of orange there. I think that's going to be quite a Biosyn staple. I actually think the reds and oranges in general are going to be a Biosyn staple, not just in their logo design and their facility design, but potentially in their dinosaur design as well. Now, whilst the full series of interviews is not going to be out until the 14th, and of course we'll have some coverage of that here on the day, we do actually have some information about this location for the very first time, and also other cast members that haven't really been discussed in the past from the sort of preview interview for Empire's upcoming issue. So let's take a look at some of that information now. So this is what Colin Treverrow said about the Giganotosaurus. He said he wanted something that felt like the Joker. It just wants to watch the world burn, essentially, which is interesting because the world is very literally on fire in this situation. Now, I mean, that to me kind of sums up both the Indoraptor and the Indominus Rex as well in their philosophies. They were very much single-minded hunters to some extent. Indoraptor had a little bit more to it. It's interesting that they've gone back to that yet again for the Giga. It does feel maybe more like a slightly more grounded iteration of the Indominus Rex more than anything else. But it's the next line that's really interesting. The Giga's home is the amber-rich Biosyn Valley, a name that will be familiar to fans of the original Jurassic Park. Biosyn was a rival company to InGen, who paid Dennis Nedry to steal those fateful embryos back in the day. Biosyn got the contract to house the dinosaurs that have been captured around the world via various governments, Treverrow said. They claim it's a research facility where they can study the pharmaceutical values of the animals, but there's some other stuff going on. Among their fold is series newcomer Mamadou Athi, playing Biosyn employee Ramsey Cole, a very ambitious and forward-thinking young man, the actor teases. So not only there have we found out the name, it's Biosyn Valley, and it's amber rich as well, so assumedly that's why they decided to settle there in the first place. They claim it's a pharmaceutical facility to do research on the dinosaurs. That's a little sad in and of itself, but it very much wouldn't surprise me if that's the kind of thing we saw if dinosaurs were to exist in the modern world. And then, of course, some other stuff is going on, which I suspect may tie into the locusts more than anything else. I'm hoping it's not going in that dinosaurs as a weapon direction, because I think we've had enough of that, but I think the locusts and that stuff we've talked about in previous videos may tie into that other stuff going on. Now, of course, the other interesting thing is we finally know who Mamadou Athie is going to be playing. It's Ramsey Cole, and he's a Biosyn employee with a description very similar to Dr. Wu's original description, really, if you think about it. A young, forward-thinking and very ambitious man. He's often featured along with the rest of the cast, but is there a chance he's playing a villainous character of some description, or is he going to be playing more sort of an inside role, an inside job? Perhaps a Biosyn employee gets so in over his head, kind of realizes what they're doing is wrong. It's interesting. The fact he's listed as ambitious makes me think he's going to at least begin as a slightly antagonistic role at the very least. And after all, he's a Biosyn employee. And I feel like ambition in this series is often the enemy to some extent. Everyone who's ambitious tends to get a little bit overzealous by the end. So it'll be really interesting to see what Mamadou Athie's character, Ramsey Cole, they've really given him a much less interesting name. It'll be really interesting to see what his role is in the film, but we can finally put a name to his character at the very least. So we've got the full animatronic finally. We've got Biosyn Valley, an amber-rich area where that Biosyn facility is. We know that they're doing pharmaceutical research and maybe some other stuff. And we've got Mamadou Athie's character. So I mean, this is some good stuff. Interesting that it's also suggesting they're not necessarily producing their own dinosaurs. I suspect maybe they made the Giga, but it's you know, they're being sent dinosaurs from various governments around the world. Maybe even the DFW, etc., is sending dinosaurs to Biosyn. So I always thought they were making their own dinosaurs. They probably are involved in that. It is Biosyn after all. They were trying to steal the original embryos. But maybe a lot of the dinosaurs going on in the film, the Biosyn dinosaurs, were actually sent from around the world. Maybe that's how we're tying in these global locations like Malta and what looks to be Siberian or some form of tundra environment. Finally, Colin Treverrow said, "It's an entirely new kind of movie. It's the thing I've been wanting to do this whole time." And we also have a double cover. You'll have seen this making the rounds on Twitter if you've been keeping up with that, showing both the new characters. The interesting thing about this is Mamadou Athie's character is here. He's standing, well, he's sitting with Claire, with Owen, with the Wonder Wise's new character, and then on the other side we've got the legacy heroes, as they're called, and they've got a Allosaurus in the background, they've got the Pararaptor, they've got the baby Nasutoceratops with an adorable little broken horn, and we see Ian Malcolm, we see Ellie Sattler, and we see Alan Grant back again, of course. Ian Malcolm doing such an Ian Malcolm pose. He's the only one in the entire thing that's like very definitively posing in a very overt way. It's moderately amusing. Anyways, Ian Malcolm looking like Ian Malcolm. A fantastic cover. There's also an exclusive Amber edition, which is absolutely beautiful, which hopefully I'll bring up on the screen right now. And that's about it from today. Now, that is just a preview of the full interviews going live on the 14th. It may be the most pertinent information, maybe there's nothing else in there, but I suspect there probably is. We'll have to wait till the 14th to find out, but I personally am quite excited for that date. It's 5 days away, so come back here on the 14th, and if there is any big news revealed in that Empire edition, I'll be sure to bring it you right here on the channel. Right, we are done. Hope you all have a lovely weekend, a lovely Saturday at the very least. I'm going to go play some Elden Ring and sleep. I'm very tired. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, if you're excited about Dominion, throw me a like down below. I'll see you lovely folks very, very soon. Cheers, much love, and as always, bye-bye.
Reaching out.